We're not that late this time, huh?
Just like 2.5 minutes.
Very nice. Were you able to record that from there?
Yes.
Hey.
I figured it all out.
Buddy, the level of technology we have figured out amongst ourselves, and when I say that, I mean like 90% Christian, and me just going, yo, does this thing plug into this thing? It's pretty great.
I even hit the record button on the
I saw you do it earlier.
Thing
because, a little condescending, but also I was like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to do that.
Because, that rarely happens, even though the button is closer to you.
We should just move this thing really close to me so that I can hit the buttons way more.
Just smash them all at once.
Can you do 2 at once, bro?
Oh my. Wicked. All right. DJ Lexus. All right.
Did y'all hear that?
I am La Lucha. What's up? What's good, fellas? What's good? What's good? Justin Friedberg in the chat. Michael KB said, is it worth it?
There's a song that no one will know. It's from a Toronto rapper who's currently in jail for shooting at a crowd in public, who has a great song called "Worth It." And every time someone says, "Is it worth it?" I hear it in that tone.
So go for it. How does it go?
100% not.
I want to hear the song.
No, do we have a bleep button? Do you have an understanding? I just said he's in jail for shooting at a crowd in public.
No, I just want to hear.
The lyrics aren't.
I want to hear, some of Alexis's heroes and what they're saying.
Oh, the stuff I listen to. Did I tell you my nephew doesn't like hip hop?
No, I don't think you ever.
He's like, I don't really like it. I was like, you have no idea. This is our culture. You have no right to not like this. And he's like, well, I like listening to some old school stuff like Ice Cube. I'm like, that's old school for me. You ain't allowed to like Ice Cube, dog.
Ice Cube, dude, he's listening to the greats. He has to start from the beginning of the book.
No. See, hip hop is you have to start with the most ratchet, bad, terrible.
I see. Okay,
hood.
That's not how
hip-hop. Then you find like, oh, there's art.
I mean, I guess when I was first listening to hip hop, I think I really started paying attention to hip hop when I was like maybe 9 or 10, because my brother's 8 years older than me, so I was listening to whatever he was listening to.
Before that, you were just running around the house dancing bachata.
No. Honestly, the first when I first started,
because every Latin kid's first music is what gets played when you're cleaning the house.
That's what you grew up with,
Yeah.
but I didn't like pay attention to it, to the lyrics, to the music or whatever. But it's in my heart. If that makes any sense. But
we all know 440 lyrics without having ever picked it ourselves in a music thing.
Honestly, the first when I was like embracing the music I liked and really got into music was in junior high school. So I was about probably your nephew's age. And one of the first albums that I absolutely fell in love with was No Doubt's Tragic Kingdom. That was
really
with I'm Just a Girl.
That song spoke to you.
Underneath it all, I'm just saying.
You put both of those together. That's a statement.
It was a confusing time in my adolescence.
Yeah.
But no, that was like the first album. I was just like,
you got family in the other room going, "Me tengo que ir," and you're in there like, "I'm just a girl."
I didn't really get into Latin music, like understanding it till I was about like in college, and then I remember late high school, college, I was like, I need to actively want to immerse myself in this culture because nobody's just gonna give it to me. So I was like, then that's when I started listening to Anthony Santos and Juan Luis Guerra, and I was just like actively looking for it because I realized I didn't want to miss out on it. So
for me, obviously, I grew up with Latin music, but you know what got me into like our generation of Latin music was, do you remember a group named DLG?
Yeah.
Okay, so they were like salsa. They were a pair. They kind of looked like us, actually.
Sure.
But I think the black dude was the fat one, and the light skinned dude was the skinny one, if I remember correctly.
It's the Latino multiverse.
You know what I mean? Really, there's if any of you ever jump on like Caribbean Latino or South American, not all South American, but really like the area that touches the Caribbean. If you go on their YouTube, it is all different variations of Christian and I. All of it. It's hilarious. But someone told me they're like, yo, it's like salsa, but like hip hop.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, huh? And like that was the precursor to like when I started getting like mixed CDs of like DJ, Playero DJ stuff.
Right.
Which was it. That was it for me.
Who was it? Crimson Pizza said Christian has a mix CD of El General greatest hits, ready for your nephew, Alexis. Bro.
Yeah, muévelo, muévelo. That's the only song I know. And to this day, my aunt, if I'm listening to like Bad Bunny or something, she's like, I said General. Like she thinks
he's making a comeback.
he's the only I rap in Spanish, kind of in a reggae kind of way.
Sure.
Reference. That's like how everything is. If you're playing any video game, it's a Nintendo.
Right,
in Latin America. Doesn't matter. PS5, mira ese Nintendo.
Exactly. Yeah. There's a guy on TikTok that does a great he does like there's a lot of people like this to where they immigrant parents and first generation kid or second generation kid and essentially they're like he has his mom or grandmother or something and he's explaining to her, he's like, PlayStation. She's like, play station, and he's like explaining everything, and then he goes, all right, say the full thing, PlayStation, Nintendo. Yeah. It's so great.
Which is a glimpse into all of our worlds right before Christmas when my mom goes, what do we get Gabe for Christmas? And I'm like, do not get him a Nintendo unless it has the word Switch on the end of it.
And Ice Bruce said, Oro Solido for the win. Yo! I don't even know. There's such diversity here.
What diversity?
I'm just saying, I don't know.
We're all going to a grown and sexy salsa party, bro.
I didn't know I was going to get an Oro Solido reference from a nice cold brew.
Oscar Rosales said, quiero a morir, ruled Alexis Chalmers, bro.
Let's go. All right. Well, we're happy to, this is a nice exchange of cultures in the chat.
What exchange of culture? We're all shaking hands, all Latinos, and everyone else is like, I thought we were going to talk about MLS, Apple TV+.
Not everybody is Latino in the chat, I assume, all right? Huey? Everybody's welcome.
Huey was the man. I think that was the skinny dude in DLG.
Okay.
Bro, no one else in my class like that. It was like me and 3 Latino kids that were only into this shit.
Yeah, dude.
And my mom's like, ¿Eso no es salsa?
Right. And I was going to say, as far as the hip-hop that I initially got into, it was...
Gwen Stefani rapping.
No, it was Gangstar, Das FX, Tribe Called Quest.
Backpack shit.
That was hip-hop.
On the train by yourself.
There was no ratchet really to
100%
consume.
There was.
I mean, not to the degree that we have now.
But like leaders of the new school way back then in that like Gangstar era. But Gangstar was kind of hood. Hard to earn was, it wasn't gangster.
If you say kind of hood, you do not mean ratchet.
It wasn't gangster. It wasn't like gangster hip hop.
No, not at all.
But Hard to Earn was one of the best albums of all time.
Sure. Nah, I mean, look, there's a couple. It was gangster rap at the time.
It was Gangstar rap. He ended up doing what, the Jazzmatazz stuff after that, Guru?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but also
I met Guru.
R.I.P. Guru, right? He passed away.
He passed away a few years ago. I met him in front of an Applebee's once. And I was like, "Yo, what you doing in here, bro?" I'm walking by, and he's like, "Oh, I'm just waiting for my food." I'm like, "Oh shit, blah blah." And I was like, "Yo, let me get your autograph or something." I went to go get something for him to sign, and my wife didn't know who he was and never heard of Gangstar. And she goes, "Did you guys go to high school together?" I come back. Guru is dying of laughter. I go, what's funny? He's like, yo, your shorty just asked me if we went to high school together. I was like, nah.
and Ice Guru said, I'm black and Boricua. Let's go, vamos.
Let's go. Who said that? Cold Brew?
Yeah.
He didn't say Boricua. He said Bori. Bro, that is...
Dude.
Jesus Christ. Are you in Santurce right now? Sipping on a medalla light?
Okay. This is a soccer show, I promise. Welcome.
Yes.
To the Cooligans. My name is Christian Polanco.
I'm Alexis Guerreros.
We out here. We never even say where. You know how extra time is like New York, and Weeby's in Kansas City.
Yeah.
We actually are in New York.
We in Midtown, fam.
Just a couple blocks from the MLS office, actually. So
bro, we was just in there with ski masks on, looking around for paperwork. That's how we were able to deliver today's episode.
They knew who we were because we were wearing Cooligan shirts. But the ski masks.
And my ski mask says my name on it. But I just didn't want, you know what I mean? I didn't want the air conditioning is very strong there.
But yes, this is our first, U.S. soccer or USA show.
Said Christian went full hip hop when he bought one of those old leather African medallion necklaces. Remember them joints?
Sure.
You got the round leather. Christian's just like, yo, how much is it to supersize this? Oh, that's what the man wants you to pay.
When I was in on my honeymoon in Italy, there was a lot of African people selling stuff.
I was gonna say, how did this connect?
So, but that they were selling jewelry, trinkets, and stuff like that. And then one guy, I think he was Nigerian. I don't remember exactly where he was from. But he was like, he sees a dark skinned person, and he's like, hey. You're my people.
Right,
hey,
you better buy something. Yeah.
But he goes, he starts explaining this like bracelet, and this is what it means to my people and this other stuff. And he's like, because you are a dark-skinned brother, I want to make sure that you have this. I'm like, all right, it's very heavy, but it's like also touching.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, cool, man. I guess, thank you. And I start walking away. And he's like, hey, okay, but like, maybe like €10.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, I barely wanted this at all.
Oh, come on, they do that here. Hold this. This is yours for free. But you got to give a donation.
Right. But it was the story about connecting with my African culture, and that he spent 5 minutes explaining. And then I thought he was just doing something kind. But no, it's capitalism, bro.
Yeah. That reminds me when I was in the Bahamas on my honeymoon. Because we do it up big in the Guerrero's household, and someone walked me and Dio walking by, and someone looks at Dean and goes, cocaine, and Dee's like, no, thank you. And he looks at me, he goes, weed. I got weed.
Bro,
I was like, okay, this guy is top seller. I'm going to assume this guy's doing well for himself.
That's how it's called just pharmaceutical profiling, I guess.
You gotta know your audience, fam. I gotta be honest, that's a smart choice. Part of me also was like, maybe he just cared for my health, and he was like, I don't think this man can handle.
We're not here to offend anybody. We're just trying to sell the products that the people want.
Hey, bro, we got a little bit for everybody. You know what I mean? Hey, if you want the cocaine, I'm gonna sell it to you, but I need you to sign this document that if something happens to you, you didn't get it from me.
Okay, so you see the title, you see the thumbnail on YouTube. If you're listening to this, we're live on YouTube, 1 p.m. Eastern time, Mondays and Tuesdays.
Yes.
But MLS just started announcing who's gonna be running the ship.
We're finally getting some information, man. We've been sitting here. All we've heard is a bunch of people lost their jobs, but we're able to kind of apply or be interviewed for a lot of these positions. So we're starting to see now some people get. And by the way, Christian and I were both not fired or considered to be hired. So,
but we appreciate that people cared enough to reach out.
If you were wondering, we weren't even talked to.
So we're gonna go through the people of who got hired by Apple and MLS, or the people who took our jobs. No, I'm kidding.
Which we were not considered.
We were not considered for, but they still took something from us. But no, we're happy to see a couple friends get some gigs. Obviously, they brought a lot of people back who were involved in covering MLS. Just some of the people that we've met personally: Marisa Du, Lori Lindsay, Danielle Slayton, Sebastian Latou, Sasha Kleshin, BWP. I think we've met everybody on here except for Kendra.
Kendra, I don't think we've met before. Maybe everyone else.
Maybe I think she was the Minnesota.
She was in Minnesota.
So,
but I don't think we actually.
I don't know if we've ever met her in person.
We've probably been in her presence.
I kind of want to go through stories. I feel like we have stories of everyone that we've met here for the first time. Because I remember the first time we met Sasha Kleshin. He
was a complete jerk to us.
He couldn't have been any less interested in talking to us. Not that he was like a mean person. He was just like. This was in 2016. And
at MLS Cup.
At MLS Cup. And it's like, who the hell are these guys?
Right.
You shouldn't even be at this damn party.
And that holds true to this day.
BWP was in Atlanta at MLS All-Star. We met at a nightclub. Remember that? And
where I told him I want to rap battle him. And he said, yeah, when I retire. Never happened, BWP.
Okay.
We got bars for you,
We're calling you out, dog. Marcelo Balboa, who we met. I don't remember where we met. It might have been at an MLS Cup or an MLS All-Star, but couldn't have been
We met him a couple times, actually.
Met him a couple times. Yeah. Oh, did we talk to him at the Soccer Hall of Fame?
Yep.
That's what it was. Marcel Balboa, awesome dude, great dude.
Sebastian Latou, we met at a beer hall outside of the Philadelphia Union Stadium.
Yes.
So super cool. Ended up being in our sketch, which no one got. It was very badly edited and shot.
No, it was good. What are you talking about?
No one understood
it was well
what we were
done
going
with Fang.
Yeah. Fang was in it.
Danielle Slayton, we met her also at the U.S. Soccer Hall of Fame, and she's great. She's obviously works with the San Jose Earthquakes.
Right. Marisa Du is the homie. Lori Lindsay, we've already rap battled. She's great.
She even called out BWP. It's kind of wild.
Still don't want that smoke. Also, shouts to BWP for choosing the photo that clearly, I think they just photoshopped his face on his dad's body because he's wearing.
It's his dad's hat.
Yeah, it's his dad's. His dad is known for wearing this hat. So shouts to the
newsboy.
Yeah. Shouts to I'm gonna call it now the right hat because they've earned it.
These look like outside of the Balboa and Sebastian Letou, they look like. They came in studio. Like Apple said, "Yo, come in studio, take these show." Maybe
we
MLS.
got an Infinity background. We need you here.
Okay. Diego Valeri.
We've met before. Great guy. Puts no sugar in his mate.
The homie Jillian Sakovic.
The absolute homie. We met her.
Also
Max
Bredos.
Max Bredos, homie. Cubano. Got on the list.
Jake Zivin, Portland Timbers announcer. Good to see.
We've had him on the show, right?
Yes, we have.
Yeah.
Also great dude. Steve Kanji Man, who obviously New York Red Bulls announcer for a long time, MSG guy.
He has the voice of what you do. What? Imagine how a black comic from the early 2000s does a white guy's voice, and how everyone does a sports announcer's voice. If you blend that is Steve Cangelosi's voice.
Oh,
right?
That's strange description. I don't agree.
I do not agree. What part am I wrong?
It's an iconic voice.
No, that's what I mean. But it's the voice. Everyone's like, I'm not smart, and then you're like, excuse me. Put both of those together because he has that has that slightly nasally.
Has a higher pitch than probably most.
So if you blend those two, it's a 50-50 of exactly that. And by the way, legend. I can say that now that he's not with the Ops.
No, even with the Ops, Kanji was great.
That's the no doubt version of you talking, bro. We don't fuck with the Ops. See, Gabe, this is what you got to
do. So good to see. This is the first I think round of announcements of who's going to be covering MLS. At the very least, I don't know if this is going to be English and Spanish announcer. I don't know if Diego Valeri will be involved in the Spanish side as well, because we know that will be a part of it as well.
Somebody just said, as a Rebels fan, I fully signed into Alexis' opinion about Cangelosi's voice, so clearly I'm right. Thank you, Nick Red. But I Am La Lucha said, I'm sad we don't get Ian Joy, and I don't be so quick to say that because you also have Pablo Maurer's tweet of what all of the different things that each of the clubs are going to have to produce for their own channels, because each of them are going to get their own channels within this deal. Do you have that to pull up by any chance?
I don't have it here, but I can look up. Paulo just tweeted it, so I'll look it up. There is a specific kind of requirement that Apple is requiring from
each club has to produce a kind of a I don't want to use the term a wealth of. I'm going to use the term a girth of content.
Okay.
They're going to have to produce quite a bit of content.
So these are the specifics. I don't know if this is too inside baseball, too businessy. No,
but this is good it's good for fans to know what kind of content is coming. So it looks like from this, each team will have their own, quote, club room, which will just have this constant streaming of background content.
Yeah.
So profiles of players, something called The Ritual, which is a fan-focused piece that lays out club traditions, supporter culture, and whatnot. So each club is tasked with producing all of this. A series of 2-minute-long profiles on a dozen of each club's players to run all year. So it's cool. You turn it on. Hey.
Yeah, on demand.
Right.
I want to know what.
Tell me a little bit more about this guy.
I want to know what Cucho Hernandez is up to and what's he like.
Yeah, tell me more about, I'm trying to think of a player that NYCFC still has on the roster. Tell me more about Tavon Gray.
Exactly.
A 5-episode series on iconic players and coaches.
So I wonder if this means on a 5-episode series on one player, one coach, or just
no,
5 episodes.
5 episodes.
So it's like a mini All or Nothing to some degree.
Right.
As far as episodic content, this is not something we've seen regularly.
A minimum of 5 classic club moments pieces, which will look back at the club's history, at least 2 minutes long. A doc also lays out in-season content that includes a weekly first-team report, at least 3 minutes, basically just training updates, news, match previews, etc. And also, clubs have to deliver every post-game press conference for regular season, playoffs, and League's Cup match. Monthly content includes a community report focused on what each club is doing locally, an academy report, and there's also MLS Pro Next Pro focused video offering 2 times a month during that league season.
So the one thing,
so clubs have to do this. There's some clubs that are very prepared for this.
Yeah, and some very much are not.
Some people are gonna be running around with a damn iPhone.
So the interesting thing here, and I've seen a lot of the initial responses to these, as far as the tweets I've seen, is the loudest people I've seen have been Columbus Crew supporters. It feels like that. They've been sort of clamoring for content like this for a long time, and they're happy that the clubs are going to be forced to do this. My hope, at the very least, and yes, it does seem like a bit of a tall task, because for a lot of this, you're gonna need videographers, you're gonna need producers,
production team,
writers. There's a lot involved here. Editors,
Latino comedians. I mean, there's like so much you need.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's Pablo said it right there. We all saw it. So this is my hope is that there's a larger budget for a lot of this stuff, and there's more jobs and more opportunities for a lot of people. So to me, this is something to be very, very much excited about. Okay, well, now that you said that, I want to read Pablo's last tweet, which is league-wide. I've heard concerns, and again, this is Pablo Maurer. You can follow him at MLSist, MLSIST. He said, league-wide, I've heard concerns from folks at clubs that this might be a bit too heavy of a load. Whatever the case, one thing is clear. Some clubs, the ones which already deliver great content to fans, are well equipped for this. Others will have to catch up. Anyways, enjoy. Yeah. Let's talk about this. Yeah. Because who's Pete in the chat? Let us know. Hit us in the chat. Who you think is gonna be dropping the ball here? Yeah, I mean, look, Felipe Ramos put Austin Club history. I mean, yeah, how you gonna do 5 episodes? You know what I mean? You know, maybe include some of the Save the Crew stuff in there. Yeah, how about the slowest motion video you can find of players getting off the bus? What a historic moment. Oh, remember this? Yo, the first 3 wore ties, bro. We still talk about this. I mean, there's going to be some clubs that obviously are going to struggle to piece some of this together. Look, a club like LA Galaxy or New England Revolution or who already DC have a United. Lot of this content, I think, already made. Yeah. You know, some what club have you, now that you really think of it, have you not like really seen content from? Not that I have not seen content from. I would more say the quality of content and the interest and care of telling a story about the club. And you know, I would say I personally like clubs that have a front-facing person. Clubs are brands. They need to have this. Yeah, that have a front-facing person kind of deliver the news about the club. So someone whose face immediately you associate with, like, oh, so like Montreal, CF Montreal has the girl Catherine Paquette. Incredible. She's great. Claudia Pagan. Yes, for DC United. Like front-facing people. Columbus, I believe Jordan Angeli does that job, if I'm not mistaken. From time to time. I don't think she does anymore. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just saying. But this is what I've seen in the past. Right. So that I prefer that. Back in the day, remember Toronto FC had Rachel Bonetta. Yeah. Way back in the day. I think, and you know, and I've said this to people. NYCFC, we're sort of that. We're quasi that. Yeah, kind of that. But but I think that should be something that they incorporate more often in like even in Instagram content, TikTok content. Just have a person that you can connect to rather than simply game footage. The way David Butler was for 4-3-3. Right. So you could see all the other stuff, but then when a message had to be delivered, here's this guy. Clubs tell stories in different ways, and I even with NYCFC, I think they do a great like documentary style, and it feels very high budget in the way they tell stories about games, right? Especially those big moments in like the MLS Cup final and all that stuff. Shout out to Tanner who was involved in a lot of that stuff. Think about the biggest moments, us getting rings. I mean, right. The Union also I think are spectacular, and they lean into. They don't really have a front-facing person, but it's unless you consider Fang, but Fang is great too. Fang's. But even that, the Philadelphia Union are I think one of the top teams when it comes to creating content for their fans. It's funny, it's humorous. The social team is always finding ways to incorporate a lightheartedness, which I think represents what Philadelphia is, where they're like not always taking themselves too
Which
seriously.
is a great point, because for me, their content more really than any other content, I think, finds a connection with their local community, with that city more than any other person's content. They find a way to like get other mascots involved from the local town, you know, get that whole sports Philly feel into their content really well. They're not just like, yo, we're in Philly. They seem to kind of pull in the local community.
It's great. They did a really silly like TikTok and Instagram that made me laugh where it said it was an aerial view of Subaru Park, and the text it was split screen. So it said the top half said an aerial view of Subaru Park, and then the bottom of it says a Times New Roman view of Subaru Park, and it was just the font. Silly. Off season, you're just having a good time. Nobody's gonna get mad at you for tweeting that out.
Can I say, when I suggest these things, he goes, okay, I don't find it funny, but go ahead. The union do it. All of a sudden, it's the funniest.
Please, go for it. I would love it. If you could come up with something that clever, I'd be very, very impressed.
My whole career is that clever, bro.
See, Andrew Johnson says some of these teams are going to have to import production talent. Not every market has the film infrastructure that NYC or LA has.
I disagree. I think you'd be shocked at how much production happens outside of those major cities, because there's so much that needs to be filmed. Think of like how much local commercials, think about everything else. All those things, absolutely incredible. Shouts to I Am La Lucha, who just gifted us $10.
Hey, thank you so much. We love us. A little super chat.
I don't care what you write in there, I'm gonna read it out. Okay? If you give us $10, bro. Hey, my brothers, hope you're doing well. Wanted to pick your brains about all the departures from NYCFC, and do you think David Lee and Cushing will deliver us a playoff squad? One love. This is Charlie, by the way. I hope you know we could all see this, right? It's in the chat for everyone to see.
Yes.
I think that's a great let's finish conversing about,
because we that's on the docket.
Yeah.
We are gonna talk about it. So stick around.
Don't say it's on the docket. Make them feel good about giving us something. You know what? We now added it to the docket.
It's on.
But
okay, it costs $10 to put things on the docket.
It's on the docket now. Good. I was gonna take that shit off. But look, some of the chat is saying clubs like Colorado, Houston, San Jose, they don't have as robust social media content. Look, some of these clubs have been kind of sitting back, coasting. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Collecting that SUM money. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Whatever. We got a roster, right? All right, let them figure it out. What are we going to get relegated? Lights, cigar.
Clubs are like any other business, right? You know, so there's some days you really want to go into work and you really want to give it all for your boss, and there's some days you're like, you know what? I'm gonna be on the internet all day. Right. Oh, they didn't block Netflix from the firewall.
Wow.
Yo, that's on them.
Yo, that's your fault that I can pull up Candy Crush. You know, new $10 challenge, figuring out what would be too outrageous for like said Nick Red. Thank you, you two, for blocking that off.
No, feel free to challenge. Do the challenge.
Please don't.
We'll see.
Remember, what happens. I remain brand safe. Which we call it? New England is going to accidentally post the Tom Brady documentary. They got no playoffs, so they'll have time to find one. Which we call it? I think when you look at what this Apple TV Plus deal means for MLS, I think they're saying like, hey, we big boys now.
Right.
Everybody button up a little bit, right? We ain't just posting stuff willy-nilly on YouTube if we want. Now we have to deliver a club room. We have to deliver this content. And I'm assuming clubs knew way earlier than us, right? I don't think this Pablo released.
I'm sure they're not getting this today.
Right. So I'm sure clubs have been aware of this. To that sense, I don't think I've heard, maybe this stuff, obviously you can't announce it until it's ready, but I haven't heard of a lot of announcements of, you know, friends of ours being hired or anything like that.
Right. I think it's still coming out. I mean, this was the first announcement of who was going to be working these games and who's going to be delivering just the coverage. But I think there's going to be a lot more announcements. There's no way that I don't know exactly what the roster is going to be, but I imagine it's at least maybe 80 to 100 people, right? There's so many
To do all
matches
this?
to do all this. No. I'm saying to do the national coverage, like matches,
Oh, yeah. I'm talking about the club ones.
clubs. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that's probably going to be going on throughout the season. People are going to be hired to do a lot of stuff. I'm hoping there's just more opportunities, and there should be a lot more content creators and producers and people involved in just growing the game
And giving a chance to younger creatives that are getting into the game now,
Right.
because I think they will speak to a new audience, which brings us to our next topic. All of this that we've talked about, Club Room, all of that. For those of you who don't know, I have the information here. MLS Season Pass is going to be available in over 100 countries. It'll bring every single regular season game, MLS postseason, League's Cup match. All of that will be on there. Every single game will be on there, available on there. It will also feature an exclusive whip around show, which we talked about, game analysis, game replays, and original programming, which again we just talked about. MLS Season Pass will also broadcast hundreds of MLS Next and MLS Next Pro matches, which if you don't know are sort of the B and C levels of MLS. MLS Season Pass pricing is going to cost $15 a month, $14.99 a month, or $99 if you want to pay for the whole season at once. If you're already an Apple TV Plus subscriber, those prices will drop to $12.99 a month or $79 for the whole season. So that's, at minimum, you're paying $80 a season. At most, you're going to pay whatever $14.99 a month equates to. If you want to do the math, that's fine. 15 times 12. Select MLS and League's Cup matches will be available to Apple TV Plus subscribers at no additional cost. So even if you're a subscriber to MLS Season Pass, you're going to get some games, and a limited number of games will be available for free on the Apple TV app, which is incredible. And we also know that I think 10% of games will also have to be aired on linear for some reason.
Yeah, because you still need that publicity.
Yeah.
Joe Whitlock said, so no local blackouts. That is correct.
No local blackouts. And also, you could be anywhere in the world and watch these games. So if you're traveling in Europe for some reason, as long as that country has Apple TV Plus, you're able to get it.
Nick Red said we should buy an MLS Plus subscription for Jamal. I love it.
Bro.
You know Jamal. Jamal's our biggest MLS hater out in London.
Where is he? Is he busy today? Sharpening his hate?
But I think this is I don't know if it's necessarily the future in sports broadcasting, but
I think this is it. I think this is the first. Let's give MLS and Apple TV some credit for, seeing the future. This is the absolute first over the top football of this scale, football channel, soccer channel. The fact that there's no local blackouts, there's no 3:00 games like in England that you can't watch, none of that kind of stuff. This is breaking apart from local broadcast rules, and now it's saying everyone can have it, and it's putting your league essentially, for the most part, behind a paywall.
Yeah, and that's I think the concern for a lot of people, the fact that it is behind that paywall. So now
for you,
that barrier of entry for people, nobody's gonna stumble across an MLS match
unless you're an Apple TV subscriber, Apple TV Plus subscriber, or have the Apple TV app and happen to be flipping channels.
Yeah.
So let's talk about diehards, right? If you're in our chat, odds are you're probably a diehard. You and I were diehards. Is this worth it for us? Even if we didn't have to watch these games anyway just to talk about them. But if we were just the guys we were in 2015, signed up for a league, got the season passes, if you were still that guy, would you sign up for this?
If we're talking 2015,
meaning you don't have a podcast about
something. No, I know. But did I watch MLS as much as I did in 2015?
You bought season tickets for more than this.
So then, yes, the answer is yes. Because let's say I want to watch NYCFC, this would be the only way I can watch them. So, yes. And if it's simply just to watch my team, I think it's worth it. I mean, ideally, what I would have loved is the Apple TV is $5 a month. If MLS was included in that $5 a month, and I'm not paying more for it, that would be ideal. But I think a lot of people
also paid billions for this, so it's hard for them to be like, well, just put it.
No, I get that financially, but ESPN Plus was initially started at $5 a month, and you got more leagues than simply MLS. I know with this you're getting also a lot of content about MLS as well. So, but again, it's still targeting diehard fans and not really the casual fan. I think the idea is it'll turn casual fans into more dedicated fans of their MLS team or just MLS in general. But I think we've seen how difficult it is to take somebody who's not paying anything and getting the content, not necessarily for free because they're obviously paying for cable or whatever, but paying for that to like, all right, pay for this exclusively, but we're going to give you a lot of it. It's not easy. So I don't know. I think it's going to work because MLS now being involved with Apple. I think the biggest deal here is that it's going to be in so many other countries, and it'll.
But then that's that. There's a couple questions I have before I get to that. But you and I are diehards. To me, it's worth it. I am La Lucha. Gave us another $10.
Unbelievably kind. Thank you so much.
Thank you for finding the stolen credit card. I am La Lucha. He said the Saturday night schedule is hard for me, and I'm considering having to give up my season tickets. Lots of brown folks who work Saturday nights. I think this is this is Charlie who was here for the watch along.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Lots of brown folks who work at Saturday nights. You think this is a feeling across MLS fans? So for those of you who don't know, Charlie is one of like the top bartenders in the city, by the way.
Okay.
He helped do the bar program for a couple big bars here and restaurant groups. But yeah, I mean, this was another thing we talked about. All games are moving to Wednesday and Saturday nights, which make things very, very difficult for a lot of people, us included. We work at night, we're comedians, so this makes there's additional considerations that have to go into. Are we able to watch the match, or am I going to have to wake up the next morning, try to avoid all news, wake up the next morning and watch the game? So there's a lot that goes on there. And again, thank you once again, I am La Lucha. But I think for those of us who are diehards, if you're here, you're probably saying, like, is this worth it? I don't know, but it's a price I'm willing to pay because this is the thing I love. And then there's that other group behind us who are like, I like this a lot, and I'm considering paying for it. And maybe I already have Apple TV Plus, so what's the deal? It's $80 a month, $80 a year. It's not that big of an ask, right? So I think we're fine there, and I think you will turn I don't want to use the term casual, but maybe more of an acquaintance into a best friend. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Via this. My problem is you ain't going to meet no new people. Or it's going to be very difficult.
It's hard to say. A lot of people already have Apple TV. This is going to be advertised to them quite a bit.
Look, Apple TV, and maybe we can find Harry. Where is he? Apple TV subscriber count. Let's see if that actually has it. 25 million.
It's quite a lot.
Nah, it's not the high. Yeah, it's good.
It's an insane number. It's a lot of people.
People who have access to it via promotions are 50 million. So I don't know if you buy an Apple product, you get it for a year.
Right.
50 million is a big pool to pick from, but how many people are just going to stumble? You know what I mean? How many people are just going to happen?
Right. That's what I mean. I made that exact point. I don't.
No, but I want to talk about that.
I don't think there's. My guess is not many people.
Why are people saying, am I having an allergic reaction?
I have no idea.
Is it because I'm red? I scratched. I have very sensitive skin.
Look, I don't think that's the risk you take, right? And I guess, look, the concern, as soon as you put it behind the paywall, you're going to limit how many people are potentially going to find your product. Now, the bet I'm betting, or the thing I'm imagining is Apple and MLS think, no, we can work this out where this is advantageous for all of us, and we can get enough people on board. If it's going to be the future of how sports are broadcasted, then maybe they're on the forefront of something huge, where now people can become deeply involved in this niche that is MLS. And
that's the other thing, too. We didn't even talk about it. It's going to be in other countries when they don't have any football happening. It's going to be a summertime league.
So, look, there's pros and cons. But I think the thing we mentioned, about this content plan from that Pablo mentioned, is it's all about marketing, right? They're leaning towards, we're going to market this league better than any other league. And we're going to try to be more global. There'll be less barriers from country to country. So there's a good chance that people watching an MLS playoff game in the U.S. are also watching it in England or in South Africa or whatever. And that isn't necessarily easy when it comes to leagues that are not Premier League, La Liga, and stuff like that.
Or is it just the league that's better than the league they have there? You know,
That too.
maybe
That
they'd be
too.
like, well, this seems like a better standard than what I'm playing with. Actually, there's a guy named Rapids Bray who quote tweeted our tweet and said, my only issue is there's not a sub to one team for like $3.99. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I'm sure MLS and Apple will never do it because they want you to get the whole season pass for the whole league. But that's actually not a bad idea. Be like, hey, man, I'm only a fan of, I guess, this guy, Rapids Bray. I'm assuming he's a Colorado Rapids fan. He would love to just watch Colorado Rapids games. Yeah, for $4 a month.
Yeah. So, $12.99 if you have Apple TV, or $14.99 if you don't have Apple TV. It's not cheap. It's kind of it's not
expensive.
Not expensive, but it's
And truthfully, you know what should happen is like when you get a T-Mobile phone, they give you free Netflix. There's probably going to be subscriber deals with stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe this shows up on an Amex thing, where it's like one of the deals you get. You get a season pass.
You join the Cooligans Patreon, we will support you for getting your Apple subscription.
We'll get I Am La Lucha to send you $10.
Good subscriber deal.
Yeah.
Jason Brenya said, let's be honest, MLS over-the-air numbers have been horrible and not growing. Bowling was doing better numbers on ESPN. It is what it is.
Mike Thomas said the idea would be to use geolocation to put all of your local team games in front of the paywall. So that means then why would you pay if you live in that market? Meaning, like, if you happen to be in New York, you get to watch the New York games for free in front of the paywall, not behind it.
Right. So meaning that will allow.
But then everyone gets to see the games in the local market. So why would any fan ever pay?
Yeah, I mean, you still have to pay for Apple TV, which is the $5 a month.
No. He's saying put it in front of the paywall.
Put it in front of the meaning for free. Is that what he's suggesting?
So every local market gets.
But you can't use Apple. Can you use Apple TV and not pay? No, you can't. So even open the app, right? You have to sign in and you have to pay to.
Only if you can use in Apple TV, like the actual product.
Right.
You can't use Apple TV Plus for free.
Got it. Okay. All right. So look, everybody's look. I think for the people that probably listen to, if you're listening to a soccer podcast, you're probably getting MLS Plus. I feel like it probably makes the most sense because otherwise, how the hell are you going to see the games?
Can I tell you what I think would have been the right move, but it would have been a little too ballsy, and I think it would have taken a lot of money to do, and MLS probably didn't want to foot that bill. Also, it's hard to walk away from Apple and billions.
Yes.
But here's what I think I would have done. A long time ago, a new politician in Argentina took over, and he said that, you shouldn't have to pay to watch football. It's too important to our society. So they created a website called Futbol para Todos, football for everybody. And you could watch all Argentinian league games for free on YouTube. I started watching a ton of Argentinian league games. It was fun. It was dope. It was the same production value as what they have in Argentina. It wasn't like, we'll put a camera up. It was the same. It was like watching a produced sports event. It was absolutely incredible. I started watching, clubs like Central Rosario and how they played, Racing and how they played. I got to see San Lorenzo, all the fans going crazy, singing. I got to see all this. It was completely free. And I'm assuming people all over the world were watching it. You would see hundreds of thousands of people watching this stuff.
Right.
Way more than probably are watching in Argentina. Would that not have been the smart move?
Just give it all away for free?
Give it all for free on YouTube. But now you have this insanely large YouTube channel, right? If you're MLS, you can do all those little breakaway channels for each of the local clubs.
Mm-hmm.
You still ask them to do all the same content. But now each of you would just have millions and millions and millions of views. And these things are just constantly being recommended to more and more people. Think about it. Everyone in the world who has a smartphone has YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, the hope is that they will watch, but I mean, that doesn't necessarily. Who's going to leave that much money on the table if you're getting an offer for?
But you're getting it on the back end, so it's a long con.
It's not a con at all. I mean, they have a product that somebody's willing to pay for, so you take the money. I mean,
I get that, but I'm saying, would that not have been a smarter move for the future?
To leave that much money on the table? No.
Would MLS now just be this monolith on YouTube?
You have to. Somebody has to pay the light bill, bro.
You act like they ain't got the money for that. You act like they
They
can't go.
don't.
MLS can go and get billions in loans if they want.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm not having this financial conversation. That's too much money. It would be you would never say no to the offer that Apple made to MLS.
Of course not. But I'm talking about, do you not think it would have been a smarter play?
I don't think so. No, that's not the smarter play.
I disagree. Let us know what you think.
What you want to be like? You want MLS to be like a hip YouTuber and just hey, like and subscribe.
Yeah, Mr. Beast.
Yeah, that's it. That's why there's not 15 Mr. Beasts, right? He dedicated his life to being the YouTube guy.
Yes, I get that there's not 15 Mr. Beasts.
And
there's like 38 Jake Pauls. You know what I mean? There's like 55 True Jordys. And unfortunately, there's more than one than 8.
Are those people going to watch MLS to the degree required to really make money off of it?
There's no other league that's broadcast on YouTube that I know of. There's no other league that would be broadcast on YouTube at the quality and the level that they would have. So I think you sort of game this massive algorithm, the number 2 search engine. I think now it's number 3 behind TikTok, actually. But number 2 search engine in the world now has all of your stuff right in front. And of course, YouTube's going to be like, hey, we kind of want to meet with you because you seem to be huge. And you're going to be getting a lot more access than most. I don't know.
No. Well, that's why Apple goes in that negotiation and be like, no, don't go somewhere else. We're gonna deliver the product better than somebody else, and that's why, and we're gonna give you this kind of money for it and stuff like that. So, no, it's way too much money, and there's a little bit of people not taking a brand seriously because they're on YouTube.
There's a cachet that comes.
So
with
a sports league
but
being
that's also changing.
exclusively on YouTube, but it's changing. But the association with being on YouTube is slightly like an insult, right? It is changing, but if Apple comes along and says, don't put it on YouTube, we'll give you $250 million a year, or like, you know what?
Sorry, upload it already.
I feel like we might be a little bit bigger than just being on YouTube and you know, dude wipes ads in between.
Nothing's wrong with dude wipes.
Nothing wrong with dude. I'm just saying.
Jesus, pick something we don't do. Blue Apron.
I'm just saying it's not to knock, but it's a different audience. Okay,
look, Felipe Ramos said MLS would grow in Latin America if it was free. All those hinchas who can't afford enough would watch. Since the time zone works out.
It's wishful thinking. It's like,
is it?
It is, bro.
I'm a case in point of the Argentinian league did it for their own people, and I'm watching.
And are you watching games, throwing your hands up at the screen or whatever? No.
I was at that time.
The way you grow that passion for a league or a club is locally. What are you gonna do with you if you don't get Manchester United fans going nuts for a goal in the stadium week in and week out? Nobody outside the world is gonna care.
See, you think linear. I need you to think reverse. Okay, YouTube is doing it in reverse. YouTube will bring you fan base. You start to go viral. You get tons of views. Hold on. Now, every time somebody opens up their phone, your TikToks are getting recommended. Your thing is that because now you have complete reach. Now you've gamed the algorithm. You now are ever. Hold on. You think those people aren't gonna? TikTok kids aren't gonna be like, oh, I should go watch this. This is my local thing.
You game the algorithm.
Yeah.
But you don't think these social media companies gatekeep all the time? They limit what people's reach is. They say like, hey,
you think you're gonna do that to a league that is willingly putting it for free on
100%. They'll say like, hey,
can you
look,
explain to me why?
Hey, look, you seem to be getting a lot of views here. I think it might be good to work on a partnership or give us money to advertise and boost your content a little bit more.
Okay, we're not talking about Instagram TV here,
bro.
We're
just
not
saying,
talking about Reels.
You're at the mercy of these social media companies.
Watch the next Hudson River Derby on Reels.
You're not watching the Argentinian League now.
No,
you
because
saw a couple matches.
It's hard to find. I didn't see a couple matches. I really got into it.
It's not that hard to find. It's on. They air the game on like FS1 or FS2.
Goal has it sometimes.
A couple games. BN Sports.
TYC if you have access to that channel.
You could watch the games. You really want to watch the game. Why have to be on YouTube, bro? It's a quality. It's a product worth paying for. Somebody's gonna pay for it.
So that's the question that I have is, would they not have stood a better long-term shot had they not put it behind a paywall?
And Ice Cold Brew said, as someone who works in advertising, Christian is correct. Okay.
Yeah. No, of course. He works in advertising. Of course he's going to say you're correct. Old media over here.
Old media over here.
Yeah. Next Cold Brew was like, would you like to advertise in a magazine? There's still 2 of them left.
Justin Freeber said, Argentinian League is on Paramount Plus. Alexis, get on board, bro.
I'm saying.
Go support.
Central Rosario.
Support your team,
Or what is
bro.
it? What is it?
River
Justicia y
Plate.
Defense?
River Plate. Newell's Old Boys.
Yeah.
Go support them.
Argentina League, the algorithm.
Nah,
is
dude,
a
what the things that sell MLS are Gareth Bale scoring that goal in now MLS Cup Finals, Zlatan Ibrahimovic getting his first goal against LAFC.
Hold on.
Those moments are like,
that was
yo,
on
what's
YouTube.
going on over there?
Imagine that was on YouTube and people could use those clips willingly, reaction videos, all those things. Bro, it would be huge.
Okay.
Why are we acting like
they
isn't a big deal?
They do
Let
that
us know
already.
what you think. So, Nick Red said Alexis calling for turning over MLS broadcast to Elon Musk.
Bro, it's wild. It's wild. People
Look,
need to
Racing.
pay their rent, and Alexis is like, let's get some. Throw me some Twitch bucks.
That's not even a thing. As someone who likes free stuff, Alexis is correct. I am a lucha, see?
Okay.
We're all figuring out where we sit. Let us know what you think.
Yeah. Look, I didn't think this conversation would lead to a
50-minute
debate about this.
conversation?
About just Alexis's poor economic policies.
Poor future. Too advanced for Christian, I believe is the word you were
Exactly.
looking
Okay. I do want to talk a little bit about MLS free agency.
Because NYCFC right now has, what, a third of its roster?
So this, we gotta at least address some. I mean, Sean Johnson is.
Who would you say are the 2 most important players on NYCFC? Would you say it's Alex Collins and Sean Johnson?
Maxi Morales?
Yeah,
also?
Maxi Morales also gone.
Also
Yeah,
gone. So
but at least he retired.
NYCFC,
right? Or did he go?
No,
play
he went
Argentina?
back to racing in your favorite
No,
Argentinian team.
I thought he went to Vélez Sarsfield.
No.
He went to Racing?
Racing is his childhood club, and he said that he wanted his kids to see him play for his childhood club at least once. So that's why he went over there.
That's beautiful.
So it is beautiful. I mean, I'm
His
not gonna
kids-
forgive him, but
No, his kids will be like, yo, this Dusty, bro. Ain't no chopped
No,
cheese around here, fam.
Maxi, absolute legend, and I'll always have incredible memories. Celebrating MLS Cup.
We got to hang
with
out with
them.
him
It was
with the MLS Cup.
incredible.
It was
Him and his
crazy.
family, his kids are adorable.
Low key, MLS Cup might be taller than him, but it was cool.
But Sean Johnson is so I want to we'll and people in the chat, please contribute. Anybody. Any free agents, maybe on your team or on other teams that you would like to see on your team, or people that you're concerned that they might leave. Obviously,
Chris Jarrett already put Hebert, who obviously went to Seattle.
yes.
I don't think we're gonna miss him as much though. Oft injured, great scorer.
Look, before he got injured, he was huge. He was, yeah. If it wasn't for Tati,
In moments.
Tati Castellanos becoming, who he became, and it was just, I think, unexpected for fans and even.
I'll never forget the
staff
back heel nutmeg in the Hudson River Derby.
From Bear, yeah, that was
incredible.
That was great. But Sean Johnson is a free agent. Obviously, goalkeeper for NYCFC. He is. There was a photo of him in Toronto at a Raptors game, and NYCFC fans were like, "Oh, that's it. He's done. He's gone." But look, Toronto FC is probably rolling out the red carpet.
Bro, if he meets Drake, it's over. I will say that.
But this, I'll say this. Obviously we're cool with Sean Johnson, and I think he should do what is best for him and his family.
Chase that bag. I just hope that bag is here.
I don't know what the situation, the money situation is.
Well, this is free agency. I mean, this is what the benefit of free agency is for these players. Is in the past he wouldn't have had this opportunity, but now he does. That other clubs can look at him and say, you know what, I think you're worth more than just what the standard pay raise is, or constantly arguing for renegotiating your contract. Now you get to have other clubs that say, like, we want to invite you in and we want to entice you to come here with a lot more money. So this is good for the player.
And in MLS overall, I mean, there's going to be a few goalkeeping changes, right? Because Alex Bono left Toronto. Obviously, he's at DC United now. Bill Hamid. It did not get re-signed with DC United, so he's going to end up somewhere else.
Right. Still got a lot of career left.
Yeah, Sean Johnson. It would be I think it would be a big loss, but
he already won MLS Cup. I think because MLS is one of those clubs that turnover in a roster has to happen a lot.
Mm-hmm.
To some degree, I'm like not afraid that this is going to happen. I would love to have him.
I'm terrified.
I would love to keep him, but I think
scared.
I kind of want him to get his bag. Though.
Yeah, I do. I want that too. But look, I'm gonna speak as a fan. As a fan, I'm like, bro, don't leave. I think this is NYCFC is a better project than Toronto. And
Toronto is gearing up. Though.
But he is older. I think he's 33, 34.
That's not that old for a keeper.
Not that old, but this might be his last big contract.
Absolutely. And also, I mean, Insigne was a Bernadeschi. You've got who else is up there? They just got obviously Bob Bradley.
Yeah,
you've got
they re-signed Osorio.
I mean,
not a bad team, but they were very bad last year.
Yeah, but I think this is the renewal of the project, and I think part of that is having a keeper that can play out the back.
Sure.
And he's one of the better ones.
But I do think for NYCFC, Luis Barraza is I think a good keeper, and I think he could. I think he can step into the role. And
that's why I said what I said. Yeah, because I know our backup is good.
But still, I would want Sean to stay. But I do understand. Now, Alex Collins. This is...
You need to fight tooth and nail to keep this man.
Because all reports are saying now that he has... I'm not going to say rejected an offer from NYCFC, but he's clearly hearing out other offers.
Right.
And so I was for Atlanta United was one of them. Was it Galaxy? No, I forgot what team.
Isn't he also getting looked at by clubs in Mexico?
Yes. So he has options, and he is a defender who nearly got his country into the World Cup. Not only is he a great defender,
I think he is the best defender, the best center back in MLS.
That's fair. I mean, look, who won Defender of the Year from Philadelphia Union? Glesnes won it. And
I think Glesnes had a better year that one year, but over the course of Alex Collins' career, we've seen him become just an unstoppable force at center back.
Yes, he's been great.
Or unstoppable force, because he stops people. I don't know how to say that word.
I think the fact that he's such a good defender and also scores a fair amount of goals. I think he got like 3 or 4 goals and maybe 1 assist or something last season. And he missed, he had an injury and he missed like a bunch of games. But clearly a very important player, and I think any team would want to have him. NYCFC, do everything you can. Keep this man. You got to keep.
No, you have to. Honestly, and
it might be like make him a DP type of thing. I don't know. And the DP situation might be interesting as well with NYCFC because Thiago Martins is obviously one of the DPs. Right. Maxi was the other.
And also, what's the dude's name that went to Saudi Arabia?
Mitrita.
He's off
the
this year.
I think he's off the books.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't last year. He is this year.
Yeah. So, so it's going to be an interesting.
Do you take that money to go out and sign a DP level player, right? Or do you keep your best center back?
I know they signed Mitia. Something.
Is it Malte Amundsen also a DP?
No, he's not.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah. So look, we're waiting to see what the news is going to be with what NYCFC is going to do. It does
clearly we're in rebuild mode.
It does feel like it, but it didn't really need to be a rebuild mode, right?
I mean, look,
you got to the Eastern Conference final,
and here's why I'll disagree with you. If you make it to MLS Cup, we're in MLS. You have to have turnover. Trying to hold on to this core and hoping they can do it again is what stops other teams from succeeding. You have to be able to cut this down and take the lessons you learned from that run and repeat it.
Okay.
I mean, look, Nick Cushing is good enough to get that done.
Nicholas Acevedo, also went to a Brazilian club, Bahia, something like that.
Yeah, I'm going to miss him.
So, and I think, was he one of the best midfielders? No, but he was a very, very good backup. And when there were injuries, I think he really, really stepped up and showed. Santi Rodriguez is officially gone. I just saw a photo of him back at Montevideo.
Right. Is he going back to Nacional?
Montevideo. That's where he is.
Oh, he's at Montevideo Torque?
Torque, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So this is a big change. NYCFC...
Which is weird because you would assume NYCFC is higher on that city ladder.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he wants a change of scenery or something. I don't know.
Okay.
But it's looking like NYCFC as of right now. I don't even think they have enough players.
Bro,
right?
that's we ain't got a lot of time, bro.
Season starts in pretty
How many
soon.
picks they got in the draft? I've never asked that question before.
So look, they do have a great academy. The kid Maximo Carrizo, what's his name? He's like the 14-year-old that MLS signed.
Yeah. He looks incredible.
Who is I did see he got a call up to the Argentinian youth, like 14, like a youth thing. So now he has like kind of the choice where to pick. But if we have a 14-year-old that's getting called up by Argentina, that's a good sign.
It's a World Cup winner.
Okay, this kid, he's 14. He won a World Cup.
He won a World Cup already. I think we're doing all right.
So
also, Nick Red said, "Quit your crying." NYCFC just won MLS Cup. New York Red Bull has gotten rid of their captain 5 years in a row and going for 6.
Oh, because Aaron Long, he signed a LAFC, announced him. He's another player who had a lot of options. I thought he was going to go to Europe, but
it seems odd to me that he didn't make that choice because he had the availability, but I think he's at the point of his career where he's like, to try to earn that now at what, 32?
I don't know how old Aaron Long is. I got to confirm. But he did say that I guess he's from California. So he said that the chance
30 years old.
The chance to play in front of his family was probably
your family fly him out to Europe.
He said it was too good to pass up, and it is what it is. I'm sure he's getting paid a fair amount as well. He's obviously a great player and was with the Red Bulls. But the I think this is going to be a very defining year for the New York Red Bulls because it's NYCFC announcing a stadium. Losing in the playoffs the way they did in last season. I don't know how much fans are fed up, but it's getting to the point that Rebel fans are so fed up that they're tired of complaining. And then
also,
at that point,
they're kind of indifferent now.
Yeah, it's a little bit, even from when we really started pay attention to MLS, when NYCFC got in the league, it's dissipated the vitriol,
the fervor.
Yeah, you need to be more angry and toxic.
They don't care about us. They're mad at their own front office. If you did another one of those town halls, I mean, think about the height when they beat us 7-0, right?
Yeah.
Think about how those fans just felt like they were on top of the world. They had just won Supporter Shield. They were worried that this big, club is going to come in and start buying a lot of players. We had some big name players, but they were able to turn it around and beat us at every time, right? Mm-hmm. We couldn't win a game against them. And now those tides have completely turned.
Totally.
Completely turned.
Yeah.
And their fans are like dejected. A lot of them have like stopped supporting Red Bull altogether, which if we're just looking at this as MLS fans, it's like, yeah, it's fun to beat you guys, right? We're NYCFC fans. It's fun to win the derby, but bro, you got to be a club. You can't just be an empty stadium in Harrison.
Yeah, it's even like, I think of the like Liverpool Everton rivalry within Liverpool, and there's a
Mike Red wants to correct you, though. He said they're not tired of complaining. They're excellent at complaining.
I got a degree in complaining.
Yeah. If anything, I've only started to hit my peak as a complainer.
Maybe my timeline is just not, it's not where I'm not crossing paths. I don't see it as much as I used to. But the, what point was I going to make before you interrupted?
What were you talking about?
I forgot because you interrupted exactly.
So did I.
Okay. All right. A couple other rumors I've heard. I saw this being tweeted out a little bit. Juan Fernando Quintero of the Colombian national team. He was playing at where was he playing? At River Plate, I think was the last team he was playing.
I would know. I'm a massive fan. Man,
Yeah,
if only they wouldn't have taken that damn website down.
But great play. You remember his goal in the World Cup, the one that he hit under the wall and the near post.
Yeah, of
keeper
course.
So he's had a couple really, really great moments. That was in 2014. I think he had an injury that left him out for a while, but he's like a guy who's kind of like, what is his real potential? Nobody really knows.
Right.
But definitely seen and very well respected from Colombian fans. So I think Columbus Crew getting a player like this would be huge, but they are the rumored club to possibly be able to get him. Joseph Martinez, Robin Seguini, I saw this in the chat. She mentioned this. Joseph Martinez is rumored to have a lot of interest from Inter Miami, and it looks like Atlanta United might be done with the Joseph Martinez project, which I thought he said he wanted to retire in Atlanta. This is
that doesn't mean he can't. But he owns a home there. But it seems like they don't want him. And I forgot who said it in the chat, but I want to say it's Justin Freeberg. He said you can't holding on to players or getting too emotional about players can lead to downfall. Essentially, I'm paraphrasing because I can't find it. But he said you got to be cutthroat and cold. And to some degree, I think this is the right choice by Atlanta. Obviously, the fans are going to be upset that I said that. The fans want him to stay. But there's only so long that someone of his ilk will remain at that level. And the fact that he had the issues that he had last season, flipping the table, all these other things.
The rice all over the ground.
Arroz con pollo por todos lados. So whatever.
It's hard to come back from arroz con pollo all over the ground.
I gotta be honest, my mom ain't letting you back in the house. You know what I mean? But if we're really going to talk about it, whatever happened around that situation seems to have been bad enough where Felipe Cárdenas even said that if he were to come back to training, he would be training by himself. They don't even want him in full training.
Yeah.
That's
but
how much he's not a part of their plans.
It's difficult to think of Joseph Martinez as this toxic figure because he's just been so beloved by the club and seemingly by his teammates. But it's just, I think the once Tata Martino left and De Boer and then Pineda, it just hasn't worked out. And I think maybe they feel like he's too much of a big figure.
You do have to, you got to cut the snake at the head. You know what I mean?
But why was Tata able to manage it?
Because he was the name.
Okay.
And he's the reason they won. And he's the reason these people came. You heard Miguel Almirón said, all I know is I got a call from my agent, said there was this team called Atalanta. He didn't even know it was
right.
He said they wanted me to play. He goes, I didn't even know where it was. I didn't know what country it was. All I heard was Tata Martino wanted me to be there, and I went. You are the guy. You're the leader.
Okay.
Right now, Joseph Martinez is essentially the de facto leader. He is the big name on that team.
Yeah,
and you cannot have that.
Robin says, Justin said, no arroz, no party. I mean, this is great.
Robin said, Jesus fucking Christ, can we stop talking about the arroz con pollo? I promise you on this show, we will never stop talking about arroz con pollo.
Robin also said, Joseph has been in 0 pictures / videos from the club so far. Yeah, they did return to training. I did see Miles Robinson came back, so that's great to see.
Here's a big question.
Go for it.
If you have to fill your channel, your club room up with player profiles and big moments in history, do you avoid having stuff with Joseph Martinez?
I mean, I think this is, you're going to have, work.
Just a blurry player scoring a goal.
Workplace issues. But no, you be as professional as possible. You got to do what you got to do. I don't think anything that's happened with Joseph has crossed the line of anything being like personal. I think.
Wait, don't say that because we don't know. I don't think so.
I haven't seen anything. No one's reported anything that he's like a complete asshole and has been disrespectful to anybody. I think he wants to win and he wants the team to play a certain way. And when the team struggles, he voices it and maybe makes it too much of a distraction or it's a little problematic for the team. So look, I get it. It's again. Because of this mural, you don't see many murals of MLS players. That especially guys that like had just arrived in Atlanta. He had only been there 2 years or whatever before all this artwork and murals are being painted of him. Shout out to Anibal, the homie, MLS Twerks.
Latin Heat previously.
Latin Heat, but he he made a shirt that says Joseph Martinez changed Atlanta, Georgia. And there was a picture of Joseph wearing the shirt as well.
And we know our homie, what's his name, Sheska, Brandon, who gave him the flag and he put it on his boat.
Yeah. No, so he's very much ingratiated himself with
not anymore.
The Atlanta
now
community.
Have to go to Miami.
So look, and I think this is why a lot of fans, unless Atlanta United really turns things around, people are going to side with Joseph over the team.
So okay, we got rid of Tati in the middle of the season.
Mm-hmm.
We got rid of Hebert. Should NYCFC go after Joseph Martinez?
Somebody suggested this as well. I saw this. I wouldn't be mad at it.
I'd love it.
I love it. I think
He would love playing on that tiny pitch too.
I think it's a look. Do I know if he would fit in well? I don't exactly know.
It's a bunch of Latinos on this team.
Is that all it takes?
Yeah.
Like, Alexa's like, you Spanish? All right, y'all besties now.
yeah. I'm gonna sit y'all together. Look, while y'all were watching, I handcuffed both of y'all arms together.
Okay. Kirby D said he is Atlanta. It would be more of a problem if he was not seen. I mean, like not a part of it.
Justin Freeman said if Alexis left the Cooligans, he'd be flipping over a table with pizza and cold brew. That's how we know it'd be serious.
I know Philadelphia Union did re-sign Daniel Gazdag, so that was a good sign. Anything else that stood out? Oh yeah, well, a couple more rumors.
Joseph would become the third Cooligans.
This is from Jason Lee, and he says Minnesota United have made a $5 million plus sell-ons offer to John Book, which is a team in Korea. Mm-hmm. Who
a really good team, by the way.
Yeah, they've won the championship a bunch. And then my friend Amori, if you remember from years ago, we had gotten scarves and I think a shirt or something from this team from John Book because he was living there teaching English.
Right. And he knew someone who worked there, right? Or he bought it?
No, he was there. I think it was like he got season tickets or whatever.
Okay.
But Cho Gu-sung, he's the guy from the World Cup who was
like a superstar.
Superstar, scored a bunch of goals.
This is a Hemmingson B.
Okay, but I don't know. I have to catching up, bro, because he was getting there's something. He got like a couple million Instagram followers. People fell in love with this handsome Korean man during the World Cup. But
Mines and Celtic are also considered to be in the running. So
yes, but I like to see big moves like this from MLS clubs to try to bring in. Especially we've said this whole bunch. Everybody's watching the World Cup. Some people are like, "Oh, I never seen this. Who's this guy?" And it's everybody's
also, this guy became a sex symbol in this country, and you see how wild South Korea goes for Hemmingson. If you could get just a little bit of that, give me some of them crumbs, bro.
Okay.
Take your shirt off.
Let's get that Korean love out here. Let's do it.
Bro.
Look, it would be a dope move, I think, for Minnesota, who could definitely use a striker like that. Anything else?
Kirby D said, Andrew, not the Magic City reference. Lemon pepper wet is the way to go. Really wet. Damn, we still talking about wings, bro? Yo, lemon pepper wet is low-key undefeated.
Have I had lemon pepper wet?
Did we not have this together? No, that's right.
I don't think I've.
I went to JR Crickets without you.
Damn, bro, how could you?
Yeah, fun times. Shouts to Atlanta, bro.
Okay. Andrew Johnson said, hopefully Atlanta fans can protect Derek Etienne when he's out at Magic City or getting winged at 2:30 a.m.
Yeah, remember his chain got stolen when he was out at a bar in Columbus.
Was that him?
Yeah. He posted about it on social media and I think deleted it and then put it back up because he got the chain back, maybe.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, it was a bunch of college football fans or something.
Okay.
He was at the bar by himself. And
I don't remember this.
I don't know what happened, but eventually
I remember him getting pulled over. I remember that.
Yeah, no, he got jumped.
Okay, well, we'll get Derek to confirm because I don't remember.
Derek, come back on the show, bro.
No, I am happy for Derek Etienne, who definitely getting a lot of love and I think a well-deserved opportunity,
especially because of the way he left. Rebel was under such duress.
Yeah, he left with I think people not really seeing, really, he didn't reach his full potential, and I think he was doubted a little bit. And in Columbus, especially after he got an assist in the MLS Cup final, and just
big assist.
Yeah, great, shift out in Columbus. So I know a lot of Columbus Crew fans are gonna miss him, but I think Atlanta have a lot to be excited about. I think he's gonna do really, really well out there.
I'm excited for him too. I think this is a perfect place for him.
Kevin Sines said LAFC runs the MLS. Okay.
I mean, you did win, so we'll let you have it.
We'll see what happens.
Did you hear that Jim Curtin hasn't been contacted for the men's national team?
I did hear that. That's why I put it up on screen.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you were going to talk about it.
Yes. For the U.S. men's national team job, we don't know exactly what is going to. We know Anthony Hudson will be coaching in the upcoming friendlies. But what do you think? Do you think Jim Curtin should have interest in this job right now?
In the men's national team?
Yeah.
I think unfortunately, I think Jim Curtin is where Jesse Marsh was, where I think he should be looking at, and he should be getting looked at by Europe. He should be getting opportunities in Europe. He's clearly proven that he's a good coach, and he's a good manager, regardless of the type of squad you give him. He makes really, really smart substitutions in big games. I think he also has a way of sort of giving players confidence that they're being brought in to do a certain job, so on and so forth. So, yeah, I'm looking at a coach like Jim Curtin and saying, all right, this dude should get a chance somewhere. You know what I mean?
And look, I would assume that he has had some European interest and probably hasn't found like the right fit. I mean, and what he's been able to do with the Philadelphia Union is incredible. And I'm sure he has a lot of influence and say that he would have to, it would probably be difficult to have at another club and essentially start over. I wouldn't say his time is up with the Union, or I think I think if they win MLS Cup, a couple months ago, I think the conversation is stronger for that next move.
I think Union need to do whatever they can do to keep him.
I agree. Sure. I agree. And look, clearly the players love him, and they play for him, and just the roster decisions that they've always made. You always think like, oh, losing this player when they got rid of Santos to Cincinnati, and it was like, damn, he was like good. He's pacey.
What about not having El Senior? We're like, oh, he's not going to be able to pull this guy off the bench anymore.
Right. But even still, it's just like it doesn't matter who sort of comes up, or who steps up next. They always seem to perform. Like, and I was like, even Paxton Aronson going to Eintracht Frankfurt. I'm like, oh man, he's like. He never got to show the potential, like
he showed some of it, not as much as his brother.
Sure. Like at the Union. So,
but his brother opened the door for American players to be a bit more like he furthered the conversation, and also for all the Aronsons to get offers to go to Europe.
Right.
The dog is getting looked at by Rangers. Bro.
So I wanted to play this because since we're talking about the U.S. men's national team, Ricardo Pepi was on a podcast.
Also, thanks so much for hanging out with us. I know we're going super long today.
Not that long. We're part of the usual. Ricardo Pepi was on a. I don't want to butcher the name of the Conville Minder the podcast.
It looks like a Groningen. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Fan podcast, because that's our logo in the middle of the
right. And they asked him about not getting called up to the U.S. men's national team, and this was his response.
Yeah, I remember exactly the moment. I hopped on a phone call with the national team coach, and he said that I wasn't on the roster. So then I just hung up the phone on him.
Like, did ask why?
No, not really. To be honest, it was just something that I was in shock. I was in shock because it took me like 5 minutes to be able to like just get it in my mind. At first I thought it was like I just couldn't believe it. And then I was just talking to the coach, and then when we hung up the phone, then I just called my agent immediately, and then I called my dad, and then they thought I was playing with them. So yeah, it was something that I was shocked, to be honest. And like I said, I use every situation, and every situation like this is always going to make me hungry, and it's always going to motivate me to keep working and working hard.
So this is the first line. He said, he told me I wasn't going to the World Cup, and I hung up on him.
Okay. Can I just say, this might not be the most mature way of two things, handling that situation, and then why are you telling us about it?
If I can visualize that, somebody just giving me bad news, and to my employer, or my coach is saying,
what's he supposed to say?
Obviously,
let's be honest. Look, players have, especially strikers, they have big personalities, big emotions. I don't think we're viewing this as disrespectful. I think him talking about it is more disrespectful than doing it. Because what's he supposed to be like? Yo, that's crazy. What's he supposed to say?
I would say when you say what he's supposed to say, he should say something rather than I hung up the phone on him.
I actually don't think
so. And look,
I don't think Coach Berhalter will hold this against him as much as you can't do this to your boss.
Okay,
your boss calls you and says like, "Yo, we don't need you for that project." Click. Hello.
So and it sounds like maybe he's being maybe he's exaggerating a little bit. It doesn't sound like, because later on when he says kind of clarifying, it doesn't sound like he actually, hey, you're not going to the World Cup, and boom, I didn't hear another word. Anything, I didn't hear another word that Greg said. It might have been. It sounded like he was just in such shock that he couldn't hear anything else that Greg
which
was saying.
That's relatable.
Right. And this is part of the story of the U.S. men's national team at the World Cup, on top of the other dozen stories that came
We're
out
a
of
big
it.
goddamn soap opera, bro. We don't want to be.
All right.
But also, I mean, when you look at like, remember when we were there, we were told, there was a rumor floating around that Pepe was a part of the plan until the phone call. Something happened on that phone call, and that's why he was no longer a part of the plan. Do you remember hearing that when we were at the reveal, the roster reveal?
Yes. Somebody
Again, that's a
this.
pure rumor. We don't know that for sure.
Right. Let's be careful what we say, because it'll get clipped.
No. It's a rumor.
It was a rumor. Yeah. But and if this is there's no way that there was a possibility he was gonna have a shot, and then this phone call happened. Like, the decision was clearly made. He just,
if we're taking him at face value,
which I'm going to.
Right. What I will assume, though, and one of the things is, if you go back to the Giorena situation, remember Giorena on his phone call was told that he would not be a big part of it. Remember? There was like that whole thing of like, hey man, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if that happened on the phone call or like the first week in training when, he was maybe not showing as much gusto out there.
Sure.
Again, I'm trying to navigate through all this bullshit.
No, I respect.
Do you think maybe Pepe got news that he's like, hey man, you're not going to be the starter, and he reacted so negatively? We were like, we don't even want this dude in the camp.
I have no idea. I can only speculate. I do not know.
That could be a possibility.
I'm going to assume that that Pepe was not brought to the World Cup because of the incredibly poor form he had at Augsburg. He was doing well at Groningen, scoring a bunch of goals, so you could understand it was like a late stretch of like, yo, maybe I can get an opportunity. I haven't heard anything about him as a person or his character that would suggest that they wouldn't have wanted him there. But I don't have.
Except
I'm not
for
privy.
what he just told you, which is that he hung up on the coach.
That is
That's usually.
it's not a good sign.
It's not a great sign.
But he's a kid. He's also a kid.
But you're asking the kid to be professional.
I am asking that.
Yeah,
So
we all are.
yeah. But do I think this should hurt his chances in the future or anything like that? No, but I think a lot of people were upset. People handled it differently. I mean, Paul Arriola, he put out a long statement. He was very sad about it. But who knows? Paul Arriola may have thrown his phone across the room for all I know. I don't know.
Text Pepe, hang up on him.
I could understand people being frustrated and people being upset. But if it went like this, where he just like literally just hung up the phone,
Hey, if we're gonna take it at face value,
then nah, that ain't cool. Like, you gotta take the L.
I might forgive him. I might call him back, and if you don't pick up, that's when I'm mad.
Ooh, okay.
I don't mind me delivering bad news, you taking it badly, because I deliver bad news. It's okay that you take it badly. I can't ask everyone to be completely cold-hearted too, or slow to react to bad news. But if I call you back and you don't pick up, or you don't call me back immediately after I call you up and you don't pick up, because maybe you did throw the phone and now you got to find it. You know what I mean? If that's the case, then yeah, no, we done.
Okay. A couple other ones. Victor Wanyama resigns with Montreal.
That's right. New logo, Montreal. We're off the snowflake, back to the Florida League.
Club de Foot.
I think they changed that too.
Did they?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Oh, it's right there. Right there. The two more, yeah.
You mean they have the new logo, but the name is the same.
They did stay with CF Montreal.
Yeah, it's still there. It's still there. So anything else that we may have missed? We're trying to cover as much as possible. A lot has happened, obviously, in the last couple. Oh, yeah, this is one that I wanted to make sure we got to because obviously the World Cup was going on. But LA Galaxy have been fined.
Oh, yeah, they got a pow-pow.
They got a pow-pow because
my God.
they were doing what Inter Miami was doing and paying some players a little bit under the table.
So Beckham's former team pulls a Beckham.
Yes, Major League Soccer, this happened December 2nd, but Major League Soccer announces sanctions for LA Galaxy for violating salary budget and roster guidelines. And in 2019, they paid Christian Pavon the winger for LA Galaxy, who was playing pretty well, but then he turned.
Also was a big name at that time, being considered by some big clubs in Europe, and shows up as a TAM player. And we're like, huh.
Interesting. How'd that work out?
Damn, you must be good negotiators.
And then Christian Pavon also went back to Argentina and then got involved. I think he was some sexual assault charge, and he's dealing with a lot of stuff right now.
Yeah, he's no longer a hot prospect.
Right. And but the fine was pretty rough. LA Galaxy signed. They fined $1 million, and they lose $1 million in general allocation money, and they also lose an international roster spot. And LA Galaxy president Chris Klein has been suspended from any sporting-related responsibilities through the conclusion of the primary transfer window in 2023. So, this window, we're currently in the primary transfer window in MLS.
And aren't they banned? Isn't the club have a transfer ban?
I don't see that.
I thought that was another thing.
No. That was the specific penalty was the $1 million fine, $1 million loss in GAM, and loss of an international roster spot. So LA Galaxy, who are
only sign Americans or Canadians,
who were, I mean, they kind of sputtered into the playoffs last season. Just constantly underachieving team. Everybody's LA Galaxy fans are just like, please make these changes. We're gonna be seeing a lot of clubs history content. And that's it feels like in 2023, that's the only success we're gonna see.
One whole 3-minute block is gonna have the word redacted over it.
Hey, forget this loss. Look at what Kobe Jones did in the 1996.
Not bad. Hey, listen. Why are we talking about today when there's so much to talk about with yesterday?
Remember when Alexi Lawless was GM?
Look at these kids. Hey, Gen Z, you guys love the old kids.
So I feel bad for LA Galaxy. Hopefully they don't have too rough of a season, but this is the $1 million loss in GAM is going to really, kind of keep them hamstrung. I don't know what they're going to.
Well, they've worked around it before.
They'll figure something out. Justin Freeber said, "Oh, look, the Galaxy."
Wow. Also, Felipe Ramos put Giroud to Club de Foot Montreal.
Oh yeah, the Giroud is it gonna? It's not in the. Is it in the summer that he's gonna leave Inter?
I would assume it's at the end of his
season. Is he at Inter Milan or AC Milan? He's at AC Milan. Yeah. I know some Milan fans are like, "Oh my god, how dare he?"
Yeah. It's the other Milan, you son of a bitch.
Okay, the other.
Well, would you want Giroud in the league?
I'll take Giroud to NYCFC in a heartbeat.
Yo,
come to NYCFC,
you
bro.
You think we won't eat baguettes with you, bro?
Bro, I will be. Apple hire me as far as the NYCFC content team to just brush Giroud's hair. Okay,
hire me to smell it.
It's tag team. We'll do it.
You get one of us, you get us both. Also, real quick, show them what you got. Count to 3 in French.
1, 2, 3.
Done, bro.
Got it.
1, 2, 3. We brushing and smelling your hair.
4 song.
Oh, whatever he said, bro. Croissant.
Okay. All the Montreal fans are like, yo, I'm gonna start tuning in a little bit more.
Right?
This guy's speaking to me.
Yo, check this out. Un jamambert comme toi en deux. I just said, yo, let me get the ham and butter sandwich, cut in half.
Hey, okay. A couple other things to wrap up. Justin Freeber said, Alexis would Lady and the Tramp a baguette with Giroud for content.
Oh, bro, we would both die.
We don't need cameras anywhere, actually. We need content. I'll be content with it. Yeah. Okay. A couple things in NWSL that I wanted to make sure we announced. Dabinia.
Robin Sagini put too much butter.
Okay, remember it. All right. Join the Patreon so you can get these jokes.
You got to hit the Patreon so you know. Christian being asked to eat French food is one of the funniest things ever.
Dabinia to Kansas City.
This is huge.
This is wild.
And Marta resigned, by the way, in Orlando. How old is Marta now?
Marta is
Timeless,
98 years old, bro. No. She is crushing it.
Good God.
Dabinia, obviously Brazilian baller, was at North Carolina. What a coincidence. Look at the trending topics. Gwen Stefani. Are they listening to us?
Also, Hemming's son is there.
Look at that. They can't see it on the screen, but
Oh well, you can't see it, but it looks like he's ripping into one of those weird weed smoker things that people use. You know, where you put the bud in the one end and you suck it out the other. You light the top of it. I forget what it's
a
called.
bong.
No. It's a bong is the big thing.
Yeah,
The little mini joints they sell on the street.
like a
They look like an alien's
a
head.
little pipe thing.
Yeah, a little pipe. It looks like he's using that, but it's him just doing
he's
this.
He's doing that. Anyway, okay, I'm glad we stopped the show.
I was
for
like,
that.
yo, him and his son get it, bro. He don't care about laws.
Davinia left. She was a free agent, left North Carolina, and has joined Kansas City. Kansas City Kansas City Current are now looking. It's Sam Mewis, Lynn Williams, Morgan Gautrat.
Dude, they got a beast of a lineup.
Solid lineup.
And Tali reminds us Mahomes is now part owner.
That's right. I just saw that earlier today. He's already the owner, a part owner of Sporting Kansas City, and his wife is the owner, one of the owners. I think one of the majority owners of Kansas Current.
But now he joins in.
And he's like, I want to own the team too.
How come you're the only one just to go to the party?
Okay. But this is a huge move, and Dabinia had reportedly a ton of offers from European clubs, and I think for her to choose to stay in NWSL says a lot. I think says a lot about the quality of the league as well. I think
NWSL got to worry, man.
Yeah,
These European clubs are starting to, especially the European leagues, not all of them, but I mean, there's a lot of leagues that are really starting to put in some competition for, the eyes of women's football. And some of these, there's not that many superstar players that also bring a lot of views and a lot of asses in the seats that are available just yet. Obviously, that grows with the growth of the sport. And they're starting to make a play for a lot of them. What
I do like is that transfers in women's football and women's soccer is starting to there's starting to be a real economy around it.
Hopefully.
No, it's you're seeing it especially in England, the Women's Super League, in France. It's now becoming obviously it's not to the same.
The Cup final was a massive success in England. Yeah, these things are huge.
But the degree of like people getting excited about, because I think I think generally people within the soccer world understand how significant the transfer window is, but it's more than simply like, oh, who are they going to sign? It's literally like, this may change the trajectory of our club for the next decade, and people go into it with that kind of hope and
if you make the right choice, you can level yourself up to a point you weren't before. Al Nasser is a great example. Probably not the signing I would have made, but you saw what happened to their social media numbers and stuff.
Yeah, dude.
You can make a major difference in your club with a strong transfer window.
Yeah, and the fact that there is going to be a lot of the NWSL draft is coming up next week on Tuesday, I believe. But the fact that the business of women's soccer is growing, it's only going to lead to more opportunities for players and bigger contracts and stuff like that. But it is getting to. I like seeing, and I like that teams have done this deliberately, like Chelsea. You see Arsenal do this a lot. They'll the Arsenal account will just say like, they signed a female player, but they'll just say like, we signed so and so, and it's like. Then people are like, "Oh, but that's a woman. Why aren't you saying the word?" And it's like, "No, we're
Arsenal.
We're Arsenal.
These are the academy is Arsenal.
Yeah.
The women's team is Arsenal. The men's team is Arsenal.
Yeah.
The reserves are Arsenal. The coaches are Arsenal. The front office is Arsenal. We're Arsenal, and I think that's great.
Yeah. So that's why I kind of want to just highlight the fact that this is a big move, but the fact that this is kind of making an impression where people are like, "Oh shit, where'd she go?" Like that is probably 5-6 years ago we weren't necessarily used to seeing that, especially in NWSL and in women's soccer. So it's great to see, and I'm glad she's sticking around in NWSL. We saw her play at we've seen her a couple times, but in the final against the Red Stars when we were there in 2019. 19. She's a beast. She's a beast. She's great.
When are you getting an All-Star game at NWSL?
Great question. No, they got the Challenge Cup that people don't seem to. People are getting tired of the Challenge Cup.
Yeah.
Which during COVID, NWSL was the first sports league that started back up again, and everybody was tuning in. and Houston Dash obviously won the initial Challenge Cup, but now it's people are like, all right, I don't know.
Do we need this?
It's like there were a couple injuries during the Challenge Cup where it's like, all right, maybe this is too intense for the beginning of the season, and I think it's going to go into the season a little bit more, like kind of FA Cup style, like mid-season.
Right. You know what? The regular season should be to qualify for the Challenge Cup.
But then what are the NWSL playoffs?
It was the playoffs.
Okay. All right. Didn't know that was a joke was happening.
No, it's not a joke. I'm trying to mess up. I'm trying to scramble your brain, bro.
JG said, unfortunately, my interest in women's transfer started when players were refusing to work under certain coaches and management. Look, and yeah, we're gonna talk about that as well, because the
NWSL has levied their disciplinary findings.
Yeah, they've sanctioned more people and
pretty much everyone who was part of the who was being looked at or investigated.
Yes, so they issued and look. I'll say this before we do this. I'm getting tired of negative news within NWSL. I first of all, I wish it just wouldn't happen.
Right.
But I think that we're in the middle of that cleansing. We're still in the middle of it, of just like get rid of the rot. And this is hopefully this is the tail end of that. And I think it feels like people are taking more seriousness in like fixing this going forward.
And look, from the past, and I know that's probably at this point like 3 regimes ago.
Yeah.
But in the past, people have been unwilling to make these decisions because of you got to keep the league going, blah, blah. This is what making these decisions, I think, is what gives you the health to not just have the league going, makes the players feel safe, players want to come to this league, and keeps your league successful. So these are really important decisions that are being made.
So the first sanctions that you see here on the screen, Paul Riley, Christy Holly, Rory Dames, and Richie Burke, all who were, have just mountains of just horrible things that they've either done or said, and they are now permanently banned from NWSL. So I think this is
suspensions of future in employment, one of which has been on our show.
Right.
Greg Harrington is ineligible work to NWSL in any capacity for 2 years, and Elise LaHue, who used to be over at Gotham, is ineligible to work in the NWSL in any capacity for 2 years as well.
Yeah. So there's been a couple. Farid Ben Stiti, who was the OL Reign coach, I think. Remember, it was Lindsay Horan that mentioned when she was
in France.
He was the one that was
criticizing her about her weight,
and things like that. So yeah, I mean, you can see the whole the whole statement on the NWSL website.
But I guess if you're an NWSL fan in particular, this is what you'd hope to see, right?
Yeah, the main ones, Chicago Red Stars fined $1.5 million, and then it says further, Arnhem Whistler, who's the owner of the team, the majority owner, he is going to be selling the team. And then Portland Thorns were fined $1 million, and Merritt Paulson. This was like a confusing thing because it was like initially a donation, and then they're like, nah, dude, yeah, this is a fine. You got to pay this. Right. And we all know everything that happened, involved with the Thorns. But look, this is the fans being completely tired of it, and it's nice to see some real and severe penalties. I mean, and it might not, in the grand scheme of things, these penalties may not seem like a lot of money, based on especially in men's soccer and stuff like that, maybe. But for an NWSL team, this is quite a lot of money, and hopefully this will be the things that will direct real change. So
yeah, and shouts to Andrew Johnson, who just put this up. I did not see this. Apparently, HBO Max, I believe, will show its first ever live domestic sports coverage with a friendly between the U.S. Women's National Soccer Team and New Zealand Soccer Team. And Cal Martino got the gig. It looks like it will be Luke Wildman, known for his play-by-play work in Canada for TSN, Julie Foudy, who obviously we know from ESPN, and Cal Martino got the job. Congrats. The homie Kyle.
Good for him.
Former U.S. stars DeMarcus Beasley and Shannon Box are also attached as analysts. And Sarah Walsh, ESPN and Fox veteran, will also have a 4-year start for the university. And ESPN, Fox, and Fubo TV veteran Melissa Ortiz, who also played for the Canadian national team, will serve as a reporter. Shouts to Melissa Ortiz.
Awesome. Congratulations.
This is crazy. WBD Sports. I don't know what that is, but.
Sweet. Juan Vargas said, breaking news, Christian Polanco tired of being tired.
Yeah.
Done with it.
Warner Brothers Discovery Sports is HBO Max and TNT.
One also said, Richie Burke looked like a human Flintstone chewable. I remember Flintstone chewable. Is that still a thing? People still have Flintstones. Are Flintstones relevant?
But hey, Haribo, is that the only gummy bear that you know? Wasn't there like a hood gummy bear that wasn't Haribo?
There were a lot of, like at my local supermarket, I remember seeing like I don't even remember the brand.
Like gummy bears spelled Gummi?
Not to my
eating that.
Not to my knowledge. Okay.
Somebody asked me, I'm like, yo, Haribo can't be the only gummy bear brand. There were other gummy bears.
Okay. Yeah, this is important stuff. Douglas coming through in the chat. Thank you. All right. Anything else before we wrap up? We've been going. This is a longer show than usual, but thank you for hanging out with us.
If you're watching, you still have time to send us a super chat or whatever those things are called.
Yeah,
feel free to send us money.
I Am La Lucha won the $10 challenge.
Twice. Shouts to I Am La Lucha.
Google wants Googling hood gummy bears.
Oh, Gummy Bears with the I was a TV show.
All right. I didn't tune in.
I thought that was like a hood candy.
Okay. All right. Let's wrap up. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you follow us on all social channels at Soccer Cooligans. Subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. And leave a review on the podcast, on Apple Podcasts if you like. And if you're listening on Spotify, leave 5 stars. Let's do some Patreon shout outs. Thank you so much for all the new
We got a lot of new people.
A lot of new members. Trip Norman. Shout out to Trip.
What a name. Nahum Alem.
Let's go.
We love you.
Chris Martinez.
Let's go. Shouts to Eric. One name only.
Doesn't need a surname.
We know who you are, fam. Thanks for joining.
Jared. I skipped one. But Jared Cifuentes. Shout out to Jared. Also, a reminder that a lot of people that have been joining, please, if you haven't gotten the link to the Slack channel, please reach out in Patreon. Just send us a message and we'll get you that.
We're talking
link.
to you directly. Walter Munnings.
Munnings.
Let's go.
Munnings. Nana Darko. Shout out to Nana Darko.
And shouts to Cap. That's all it says. No Cap. Thanks for joining.
So shout out to everybody who's joined. Patreon.com/SoccerCooligans. Feel free to get on there. If you want to get the reference at Robin Taghini, the joke that she was making, you can go see our PSG vlog that we made.
It's too much butter.
Okay. It's a classic in the Cooligans lexicon.
Yes.
So feel free to.
A moment that will live in infamy in my heart.
So head over there. Anything else? I think we're good.
I think we did it, baby.
Another show. We crushed it.
You guys are awesome. It's nearly a 2-hour episode. So thank you so much for hanging out with us. You guys are incredible. Like everything Christian said,